us this morning, we have the wonderful Kate, who's owner and founder of TKD Lingerie. And we have Ayshwarya, who is a wonderful e-commerce consultant. And today they're going to really talk you through some of their experiences and open this up to a very much open Q&A session where you can ask any questions regarding retail, e-commerce, where you think Kate and Ash might be able to help you. But really it's around creating that wow factor with your brand. So I am going to hand over. If you have any questions, can we please try and use the Q&A function instead of the chat function? It just means it enables me to have a look at the questions a lot more easier, and therefore allows me to ask Kate and Ash any of your questions. We are a bit short on time, but I've been told that they're going to keep it very tight, and we do want to make sure that we answer as many questions as we can. So I'm going to hand over right now. Thanks, guys.
Good morning. So my name's Kate. As Polly said, I own TKD Lingerie. I have been in customer service for 30 years now. I did start young. So my first job was as a shampoo girl at the local hairdressers. And I was there from the ages 12 till 19, and then I worked at Specsavers, which is an optical chain in the UK. I managed optical stores across the UK and Dubai. I did a stint for some business schools, so I worked for INSEAD Business School in their communications department in Fontainebleau in France, and then I worked for an American business school in Switzerland, looking after their corporate learning courses across Africa, the Middle East, and Europe. I've been in Dubai for 15 years now, and I founded TKD in 2012. We get some wonderful feedback from our customers, so it's nice to have the opportunity to share some of our learnings today. We're an SME, we don't have big budgets, so I wanted to talk about things that everyone can easily apply within their company.
Hi, I'm Ayshwarya. So I'll take over from Kate at this point. I work as an e-commerce consultant, but before my avatar as an e-commerce consultant, I was an SME business owner. So I started my first e-commerce business in 2010, which focused on baby and child. I had another e-commerce business, and now I work with various e-commerce businesses, crafting the customer journey. I work with brick and mortar businesses which want to go online, basically working together to create these wow moments that we're talking about, to make sure your customer journey is seamless, is easy, and it is delivering what your customer needs. So I've worked with Kate, it was quite daunting, taking this amazing customer service that they have and having to translate that online, and we had to work very closely together. So we're really looking forward to sharing some of our learnings here.
Okay, so if we have any questions, please feel free to ask at any time. The first thing I want to talk about is the core of your company. So why are you doing what you're doing? What are your fundamental beliefs? So I think have a set of values. So for TKD, it's very much, what do we do? We help women look and feel great, and that's at the very core, that's at the very center of what we do. And then coming out from that, the next circle is, how do we do it? And we offer the best fitting service, we have excellent product knowledge, we go the extra mile to ensure the perfect fit, we treat every customer with care and kindness, and we listen to our customers. And then the next circle from out of that is our product. So our lingerie and our swimwear, it's award-winning. We only select the best fit and quality, stylish, fashionable selection, and it's continuously updated. And then at the end of that, who are we? We are the D+ specialists in the Middle East. So whenever we're looking at this, we're always making sure that the customer is at the very center of what we're doing. And then at the very edges of that, we sell bras. It's very important for me that the customer experience is at the top and at the heart of everything we do, and we make sure that we, we have this values poster clearly communicated to all of our staff. So it's great that you know your values, but if you ask your team, do they know them as well? Can they communicate them clearly? Is there anything you would add to that, Ash?
It's absolutely, it's at the end of the day, it's all about communicating what you stand for, whether it's offline, whether it's brick and mortar, or whether it's e-commerce. And when a customer is coming onto your e-commerce store as well, they need to understand that they are a part of this family and that your values are coming through very clearly in terms of what you want them to do. So the customer journey in terms of e-commerce has to be crafted from a user perspective rather than a business perspective. So very often when I go and talk to a business, it would be like, we would like our customers to see this, this, and this before, but is that before they go on to this, or this particular page? And the question I say is, but is that what your customer wants to do? So very often the customer might not want to have to. So which is why I always recommend writing something called a user story. So a user story works as a business owner if you are ever going to e-commerce, or if you're already in, it's a nice exercise to do, to think about, as a user, I want to, and therefore the business needs to function a certain way. And the same thing you do is, as a business, I need the customer to do a certain thing because I want to get to a certain place, and then you marry the two. So I think it's really important to think of every single step from both perspectives and marry it so it's working for the user as well as the customer, but the consumer experience needs to be at the very base of everything that you're doing online, because people are used to it. People want a personal service. They want the most seamless possible experience. Sorry, we're all working from home. You've been seeing my kids running up and down. I tried to tell them. I really did.
Oh, bless you. Then I think the next big part of bricks and mortar is your team, and I mean that all starts with the hiring process. So I have a really lovely team of staff. What I would say to you is, invest time in the hiring process. You know, a 20-minute interview just isn't going to cut it. So we have a 5-step process to take on any of our sales staff. So it includes receiving CVs, it includes answering a set of questions, written questions, it includes a telephone interview, it includes a face-to-face interview. And then they come and work for an afternoon with our team, and our whole team assesses this person. So we have questionnaires put out for the team, that the rest of the sales team fill in to say what experience they had working with this staff member. So it's a very involved process. We ask a lot of values-based questions as well, because we have a very good training program in place to fit bras, so we can teach people how to fit bras. But they've got to share the same values and the same love of customer service that we do. So I would say, make sure from the word go you're employing the right people. Have a think now about the whole of your team, and if you had to pick, if you were going on a journey on a rocket ship to Mars and it's going to take you 7 years or something to get there, who would you put in that rocket ship with you? Who would you want to spend that amount of time with you? And what about the people who aren't in there? Why aren't they in there? And you know, you need to look at that as well. You need to make sure you're surrounded with the right people.
Absolutely. And these are the people who will have access to your customers when it's online as well. So when it's a brick and mortar experience with customer service, you've got these fantastically trained staff. I mean, walking into TKD is an experience. It's wonderful. It's friendly. I've always felt never self-conscious. And it's about translating that online. So a lot of websites will have a contact form, which always puts me off, because I want help. I need help, and I need help as quickly as I can. I have a question. address my question now, put staff in there who's able to address my question. Don't, if I have a doubt about a certain product, give me access to a live chat, give me access to WhatsApp. What we've done with TKD Lingerie is we've integrated WhatsApp onto the website. So people are able to WhatsApp this fantastic team who already has the product knowledge, so that their questions are answered effectively. Whereas if I were online to buy a bra and I wasn't really sure, and I had to fill up this long contact form and wait for 3 days before someone would get back to me, that's a break in the experience there. That's not a wow moment. Whereas if I've integrated WhatsApp and I don't need somebody to tell me in the next 20 seconds, but as long as I know I have access and they've come back to me and said, hey, listen, I'll get back to you in the next 20 minutes and we'll give you an answer. And I feel like I've been heard and my problem is going to be solved and my question is going to be answered, I will be more likely to shop. So the team that you've hired, when it's customer service for e-commerce, what I would say is exactly the same thing that you need for brick and mortar. Product knowledge is really, really important. People don't want to come onto a website, and Kate and I have had this discussion many times, where Kate has said, I do not want people coming onto the website and being told, well, I'm not really sure if this is going to work this way. I'm not really sure if this is the right size. You want the experts talking to your customers, whether they're online or they're offline. Brick and mortar. Sorry, I think online and offline.
I think the next thing would be about processes. I read a really good book recently called The E-Myth by a gentleman called Michael Gerber. And he said that, even if you have no intention of ever selling your business, this is your absolute baby, which it is, you need to set it up as if you were going to sell it, or as if you were going to franchise it, so that somebody can walk in tomorrow and you can say, this is the manual. So it's just putting the processes in place. And I think it's very easy with small business owners that we do everything on the fly, and sometimes it feels like we're constantly firefighting. But to have these written processes in place so that your team members can easily refer to them, and it's something that we're constantly working on, and it's something that's very easy to to not have as a priority, but if you're doing everything yourself and it's all up here, it's going to be very difficult to grow. It's going to be very difficult to get to the next stage. So I would say try and get your processes in place, and it's the same with training. So we do a lot of training with the staff. We want them to we want them to pay attention to what customers are looking at on the shop floor. Not, do you need any help? It's like, oh, I see you looking at this bra. Did you know that this has got this hook? Would you like to try it on? Would you like a fitting? If people say no, we're just browsing, okay, I'll come back to you in 5 minutes and check on you. And we role play. So that our team is comfortable. We throw different questions, we throw different scenarios. So again, it's having the processes that the team can follow, that they're clear on, that they can communicate clearly. We also have WhatsApp groups between us and the staff. So if they, very often I'm on social media, and Bridget's on social media. But we have staff members that are trained as well, and we've got WhatsApp. So if anybody has a query, our team members can get in touch with us straight away, so that they're always giving out the same message. And the language that we use, we want it to be consistent with in store. It's friendly, it's welcoming. We like a little bit of humour. We use short words. If we can say it short, with small words, we'll do that rather than make it long and complicated. So again, processes, and make sure that your whole team is on board with that.
Yeah. And process is really at the core of e-commerce as well, isn't it? I mean, the process for e-commerce begins when your product comes into your warehouse, right from how you're logging the inventory to how a return is logged back in, whether it's written off, what is the language that's being used, what are your various touch points, when is the customer receiving emails, at what points, when are you reactivating them if they've abandoned a cart, what is the returns process, how automated is that. There's everything. If there's a process flow in place and a process document in place, it makes training easier. It makes things, basically everybody can just go back and look, because we all tend to forget. And no matter how long we've been in a business, shortcuts happen, things happen where things kind of go off the path. And it's when you have a document in place, it's easier to bring it back in. And what Kate mentioned in terms of, the staff is trained. Again, I just want to segue a little bit into personalization. And that's something I feel like a lot of e-commerce business owners should be looking at, because what you can't have online is this, someone saying, well, I see you're looking at a blue bra. This has a hook. Let me come back in 5 minutes. So there's lots of AI technology now, which is actually really affordable, where within 3 to 4 clicks, the system recognizes what the customer may or may not. If they've come to your site multiple times and they've been logged in, the system absolutely recognizes what it is that they can and cannot do, and what they would and would not like, based on their previous browsing history and based on what they've purchased in the past. But a new customer, within 5 clicks, AI will let you know what they might like. And while it may not be perfect in the beginning, it's still kind of offering a bit of personalization, because people are getting more and more used to it. So if you want to translate that kind of customer service, the personalization of customer service, out of reach as we all think it is, it's quite affordable, it's quite doable. So we might want to it might be worth looking into for some businesses.
Okay. So I know we're running a little bit short on time.
Right.
We've had one question. How do you deal with it when things go wrong? What is good practice? Should we or should we not delete social media posts and comments that are negative? So yeah, things invariably do go wrong. I would never delete anything on social media. I think it's always very good to deal with it directly and openly and honestly. So we are very fair with our returns policy. We will, if it's our mistake, we will hold our hands up and we will apologize to the customer. And we will invite them back in for a fitting. We will give them a discount. There has been occasions where, hands up, we've messed up. We are really sorry. This shouldn't have happened. We are going to take this and we're going to learn from it, and we're going to do more training, and we'd like to invite you back in for a fitting, and we will rectify this for you, or we will give you a free bra, or we will give you a discount on your next purchase or a credit on your account. But we are going to get negative posts on social media. And I think, again, if you address it, if you say, we're very sorry that this happened, let us put this right for you, let us invite you in for a fitting. And I would say, without fail, every single person that we have had this experience with has gone away with a positive experience. And then I've had people actually go online and write us recommendations, saying, my bra was faulty, but TKD took that really seriously and they fixed it straight away, because we do use the best quality products. Very occasionally there will be faults, not everything is 100% perfect, but we will hold our hands up, and we work with designers and suppliers that have the same ethos and the same ethics. If something is wrong with their bra, they want to know straight away. And I have known of whole line of products been pulled because they've noticed that maybe the tiny center part of the cup is dipping in slightly, and they said, we are not putting that out. So again, work with brands that share the same values as you.
I think it's all about communication. As long as people feel like they've been listened to and they've been heard, that is actually one of the strategies to increase the customer lifetime value. It's to fix problems before they happen or after they happen. But as long as the customer is communicated with regularly and told what's going on, like Kate does and the whole team does so effectively, I think that's a customer you've got for life, because they know that they're being heard if there's a problem. So that increases the trust in the brand, doesn't it?
Yeah. So a question from Sidra: what should be the wow factor of a business? So I think it is a combination of so many touch points. When you walk in, you get a nice feeling about the environment. So we have got really big changing rooms. They're beautifully lit. We pay attention to the music. It's clean. It has to be clean. You know, so just lots of very, very small things that people wouldn't notice. You have to be really on the ball with. And then the way that a customer is treated. So I say to my team, treat people, you know, treat this as if it was your living room, and every person that walks through the door is a really special guest. So treat everyone with care and courtesy, and listen and repeat back, you know. So okay, so you've got a wedding coming up and you're looking for, you know, a bra for this particular dress, and your dress is this color, so you want something that's, you know, so pay attention. And you know, when things go wrong, do the right thing, keep the communication open. So I think a combination of all of this is going to give people a really good experience that are going to keep coming back. And again, continually communicate your values. Make sure your customers know them, make sure your team know them, and make sure that everything that you're doing, you know, it reflects them.
Absolutely.
Ash, Kate and Ash, do we have any tips for B2B wow experience, small B2Bs?
Right. I think the principles stay the same, don't they? As far as B2B to B2C, it's about communication, it's about clarity, it's about transparency more with B2B in terms of how you work, your process. I don't think the principles of customer service, Kate, correct me if I'm wrong, change much from B2B to B2C. What do you think?
I mean, my experience has always been B2C. But again, I think the principles are pretty much the same. So again, what defines your company, and play to your strengths.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
I was just
Next question. What do you think incentivizes staff to stay with you? That's a really good question. So I think with my team, we discuss, well, with my bra fitters. Number one, they're treated very well. They are appreciated. We have learnings, so we teach them new skills for different parts of the business. So they're not just on the shop floor, they're doing different administrative tasks. We include them in the fun parts of the business, so the buying, and they give great feedback. So we sit there when we're doing all our range planning, and then they get really excited about it. So, you know, oh, Mrs. So-and-so would love this style, and this would look great. We gift them product. So, you know, they get to choose the ranges, they get to choose the bras that they get. We do have a bonus scheme as well. It's a group bonus, because I've been to some stores where everyone's got their own little stand, and I've actually seen fights break out between sales staff, which is terrible. So our team are on a group commission, but we also reward good customer service. So a lot of our assessment of the staff is from customer feedback. And I truly believe that if we're giving a good customer service, the sales will come off the back of that.
I have a question. I have a follow-up question on what you've just said, Kate. So if you're doing a group incentive scheme, then how do you manage it where some staff are not really pulling their weight enough, whereas, you know, you might have the superstars who are bringing in more of, have you faced a situation like that where there are some superstars and there are some who are not quite there?
Yeah. So again, I mean, we continually assess staff's performance, and we reward when things are going right, and when things aren't going so well, we do extra training. So we will focus on that, and we'll use in-store examples. But also, I'm not afraid to let people go if they're not right for the team. So we're a small team, and I expect everybody to work together and pull their weight. And if you're not a team player, then please, just go. So we do have everything in place to give people the tools, to train them, to address any issues. But again, this comes down to HR and having your HR processes in place. And people aren't on their A game all the time, and you will have to pull people up. But if they're consistently failing you, they're consistently failing themselves, they're consistently failing the team. And it might be that you have to make that hard decision and let somebody go.
Guys, thank you so much. We've run out of time, unfortunately. There's a couple of questions on here that I know we haven't got around to asking. So what I'm going to do is copy them and send them over to you guys, and then we could just send them an individual response, if that's okay?
Yes, yeah.
Perfect. Okay, what I will do is I will copy these over, send them to you on email. Sidra and Nishika, we will get back to you on these questions. Kate will send you a little email in response to these questions, if that's all right.
Perfect.
Thank you, everyone. I'm so sorry we're running over today. So I hope you enjoyed that session. I think it was really interesting. Thank you so much, Kate and Ayshwarya. And yes, thank you. Thank you to everyone for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.